kind of, I don't know, expected the Karthus, thing to work, and that last game countered out so effectively. And the big thing was Game 1, they had the early pick Vladimir, and then they had the early pick top lane. And by having both of those picks, Acer was able to go the Karthus Yorick pick, and there wasn't anything to counter out Karthus. Like, they had the Vladimir versus Karthus, and Karthus got to free farm.
Yeah. So
Game 2, they had the Kog'Maw, worked very well in those fights against Karthus, and very easily they're able to pick up that game.
Yep. So it's almost like WinFakt. They're like, what? Go ahead, take your Karthus, take your Yorick. This time, we're not going to fall for it, and they had the perfect counter to it. So they just, it was almost like they really baited them into that game, just really their champs. But we're here back again. Seeing Ari is now being banned out by WinFakt. They decided they left it open Game 2. Nobody took it, but this time, ensure that no one gets it. Acer, there we are with the Kog'Maw ban. I am expecting either an Alistar ban or first pick from WinFakt though, because that's a champ Acer's very familiar with. Did wonders for them Game 1. Support Game 2 did a little bit. But, Nautilus, he's pretty good at CC as well, and we want to get the more
The nice thing with the Nautilus ban is that WinFakt, they didn't want to have to be forced to first pick Nautilus, and so they have a couple of options here. They probably could have left them open, but they could grab, like, Nocturne if they wanted to. They could grab that Alistar. They could grab Corki, if they're very comfortable with Corki in that bottom lane. There's a lot of flexibility right now, so we'll have to see where they go.
And even then, one of WinFakt's go-tos, it's when
Jax.
their mid is Jax is open in the midst of all this chaos. Jax has been left
I've been cooling off of Jax though, and Jax is just like, you look at Jax and he just seems like such an unstoppable monster, and I think he is to a certain extent. Then you're like every game, almost where you see Jax and you're like, oh, game's over. WinFakt wins. They have Jax.
Stream's
GG.
over, guys.
They're
we'll see you tomorrow.
They're all sitting around.
Thanks for joining us today on the IPL stream.
Right.
Someone picked Jax. We will see you tomorrow.
Yeah, and like if they're at a LAN or something, I'm just imagining WinFakt all like high-fiving each other.
Like,
Jax,
yeah.
We got Jax. All right, we win. It's over. But the thing with Jax is actually a lot of high AoE, high disabled teams work very well against him. When you can kite him, Karthus actually works pretty well against Jax. So that's definitely a concern for WinFakt. A lot of better teams can deal with him, but he is an absolute monster in that top lane. There's very few champions in the game that can go toe-to-toe with him, and if he gets any early advantage in lane, very quickly he can snowball and just completely shut down that top lane. So it'll be interesting to see how they deal with it. Janna, actually, for the first time not being banned, we do see that Janna pick up, and that definitely works out very well. Is really strong all around, but the movement speed for the jungler to be really aggressive in that top lane, try and get kills against Jax, is going to be huge.
And Janna with the shield onto the Ashe could be a very, very mean critical hit once those arrows start to land. But also looking, considering Acer here, Game 3, they're on the purple side, and usually if you're going to go ahead and pick up a combo, two characters together, you want to do it in the same set. Like here, you got your AD and support. You're grabbing your pair, you're grabbing your combo together. If they still, despite after Game 2, still want to go for Karthus Yorick, they should probably do it under pickups for 3 and 4, which will give WinFakt 2 opportunities to grab champs to go ahead and counter out the combo yet again. However, Kog'Maw's out, Urgot's out, so you gotta think, if Acer still goes for the combo, what champs are there left to shut down Yorick Karthus?
I just zoned out for a second. Okay, shut down Yorick Karthus.
Who's left? Who's left?
Jax top versus Yorick. I just hate running Yorick against Jax. Like right off the bat, the Jax pick they know they're going to shut down Yorick top. So it would be difficult for them to run that comp because of how strong it is going to be in that top lane. If we get that late game Karthus pick, we do have a pretty short range for WinFakt. If we have that Karthus pick, then there's still a number of champions that do very well against him. Let me try and think for a second. We could see like an Anivia. We could see a Lulu mid potentially. It's kind of unusual. It comes down to whether or not you play it. Kennen. We could see Kennen mid as well. There's a lot of options, I think.
Cool.
But I think the big issue is they can't run Karthus and Yorick because they could if they want to, but Yorick really is not a very fun pick against Jax. Like it's just not a good time at all. You pick Yorick against Jax, you're gonna have a bad time. And we do have the Jax. He's just so strong as the game progresses. Yorick has a slight advantage early. We'll see whether or not we actually run Darius, so that'll be fun. We do have it. Darius in competitive play. He's so OP. He's broken. He wins every single game. Acer must have already won. They've won now. So WinFakt, they were like, yes, we got Jax, and then Acer's like, yes, we got Darius, and they're both like, oh, dang it.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like, I've actually very recently played quite a bit, as Jax against Darius.
Yeah, he beats Darius.
He does beat Darius pretty hard.
And almost everyone beats Darius, to be honest.
Almost everyone beats Darius. Yeah, Jax, if you just rush Ninja Tabby, the lane's over. The lane is pretty much over.
Yep.
But Darius, Riven, one of them could jungle, one of them could go top. Riven, I think, has a superior jungle as opposed to Darius. Or
we'll see. We could see Darius in the jungle. And so the big thing with Darius is really he loses the lane to almost every champion in the game. He has a lot of damage. If he gets an early advantage, then he becomes abusive. If you give him any sort of early advantage, then he can just sit there and bully you around.
Oh.
Otherwise, he loses the lane. WinFakt picking it up, and so Acer now they have the melee team. They have the they have the Riven. They have the Darius. Going against that Karthus is going to be huge, and it is going to be Riven in the jungle. So
Zillion
it's definitely an interesting comp, and the thing is, Riven is such an aggressive jungler. Riven actually works very well against Jax as far as ganks are concerned, and so if they can get some early ganks against Jax, they definitely want to do that. See if they can get Darius any early advantage. If Darius gets an early advantage, then he can kind of just auto attack you, give you those passive the hemorrhage little debuffs, and then also with his slow and his damage, he has plenty of damage where he can kind of bully around top lanes, and so we'll have to see. If it's an even lane, though, Jax does win it, but the aggression from Riven could help him out. So Lee Sin is going to want to focus on top some, but definitely two strong teams. I mean, the Lee Sin and Jax combo is always awesome against your range carries. You have Jax leap in, you have Lee Sin follow up with the shield. It works out so well. Riven will be interesting to see too, though.
Yeah, but my issue though right now with Acer's team is that for major means of initiation. Ash Arrow.
One of the best initiations in the game.
But that's really not too. If you manage to get the slow from Zillion, or if you manage to get a stun from Riven, you can sort of grab off from that. But WinFakt, Jax can go ahead and deflect. You also have Karthus out there with the wall of pain. It could make them really regret their decisions. Plus, there's a Soraka for all of these heals. And that can pretty much, deter most initiations from Acer. And since Acer, I can see them as more of like a counter-initiation kind of team, waiting for WinFakt to come in and get their moments. But I can see WinFakt winning that.
Well, what Acer really wants to do, they can pick off people with Ashe, but what they really want to do is they want to just get Riven and Darius so strong, Darius in particular just so strong, that WinFakt has to engage. And so Acer's just going to be running around. They're going to be like, haha, you're either going to fight us or we're going to, take Dragon. We're going to take, towers. They're going to just beat you. So they want to force WinFakt to engage. And then with the pickoff, they have a lot of single target burst damage. So we have the Ash Arrow, then we have the Zillion Bombs, we have the Darius pull into his burst. One of them dies almost instantly, and so that's definitely going to be key as the fights progress. We will have that Zillion ult for Darius most likely is the plan. So he's going to be able to get some nice sustained damage in there. And the nice thing about Darius is that True Damage ultimate works very well against Jax, and so Jax, his ultimate gives him a ton of armor and a ton of MR. Well, how do you counter armor and MR? You counter it with true damage. As the game progresses, Jax is going to have a lot of health, so that's going to make it harder for them. One of the issues with Darius, other than his weak laning, is the fact that if you are going against a tanky team and have difficulty bursting people down, then very quickly they can kite you in fights, or you can't use your abilities. You sit there and you're like waiting on your ultimate. And you're like, I can't use it because I'm not going to get any kills or whatnot. So we'll see how that kind of works out. But it's a lot of it's going to come down to that top lane, and mid should be pretty interesting as well. Zillion versus Karthus.
I just had a strange thought too. Just remembering for when Darius was first released, where there was a little bit of an issue where his ult was refreshing everyone's ults. Yeah. And I thought, it would be strange for him. It's like, oh, you have a Zillion on your team. Revives for everybody.
Yeah. And Ash arrows just flying across the map.
Ash arrows everywhere, just a wave of Ash arrows, just like a fan spread. Ash arrows for everyone We were all getting revived. It would have been ridiculous. It would have been funny. But that's, alas, that has been fixed, so we'll not be seeing that here.
You say that as if it's like some whimsical, like, oh, I remember the days when the game was broken and I got easy wins from Darius.
I remember 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The blizzard of 82. 20.
What?
What? Huh?
But anyway,
I don't remember breakfast.
Zillion versus Karthus.
Actually, I honestly don't remember breakfast. I don't think I even.
I didn't
breakfast.
eat breakfast either.
That's what champs do.
But Zillion versus Karthus, it's actually an interesting matchup. Zillion, back to the game. All right,
anyway,
we're in the game. Zillion, he works very well against a lot of mid champions. The revive is going to be nice, and so Zillion, he's kind of weak early. He has weak base stats. He needs to get a couple of levels, but Karthus doesn't really have any means of taking advantage of that. So Zillion can kind of sit back, be fine. As it progresses, Zillion's just going to run up on Karthus, throw off his bombs, get out of there. If Karthus tries to get a kill on Zillion, Zillion's like, oh, guess what? You don't have quick burst damage. All of your moves are really telegraphed. I get to throw in my ultimate. You're not going to kill me. If they can kill him, in Karthus's range, then yes, that AoE when Zillion revives will be just devastating. He can throw the lay waste down right on top of his desiccated corpse, and we'll have to see, how that works out. But one of the nice things about Karthus against Zillion to kind of counter out that bomb harass that Zillion's going to want to do is he has a great range advantage, and that's kind of what Karthus does against everyone. Like, you look at Karthus and you're like, yeah, guess what? Karthus loses the lane to everybody in the game. However, he does have a range advantage over everybody in the game almost, and so you kind of just sit back and farm. If Zillion comes in to try and harass you, you throw off the wall and then chase him down with the lay waste. You're able to get that damage. You're going to be fine. So it should be an interesting matchup, but it's all going to come down to that top lane and Darius versus Jax. The clash of the Titans. We get to see it unfold right here. We'll see how that works out for them.
Yeah, but for the moment though, WinFakt seeming to just go ahead and everyone's playing defensive this game. Both games, everyone's just been like, just want to go ahead and secure our own stuff. We've done some fancy stuff, and they know they're going for invades. Like last game, we had the Kennen peeking out everyone, trying to get the invade over through the top entrance. But you know what? This time, everyone's just happy. It's like, you know what? We've been doing this for a while today. We've had a pretty amazing set so far. Let's take this one easy. Let's start this one out slow, and go ahead and just farm on up, and give us a great, fantastic show. So, but top lane, Jax, Darius. It's Darius. He's not going to be operating the best net lane, but also mid, Karthus versus Zillion. And Zillion is not a champ you see mid all too often these days anyway. I've seen a little bit of it from M5, but those bombs, they can do quite a bit. But the revive, right now I'm thinking Riven's going to be the most primary revive target right now.
It depends on who's going down. I mean, the thought is they want Darius. Darius is kind of swishy early. And so against Darius, one of the things you want to do is just kind of kite him and take him down. So the revive from Zillion doesn't allow that to happen. They will be able to keep Darius in these fights so that even if they burst him down, even if they kite him, because the Karthus works very well against Darius. You throw off the Karthus wall, and then you just AoE him to death, and Darius sits right in the middle of it. So they will have the revive to kind of counter that out a little bit. We do see good ward coverage so far, but we'll have to see how this top lane kind of progresses. It should be a pretty interesting matchup right off the bat. Jax just kind of chasing Darius down a little bit.
Good job on Pyre to actually get those wards down. You have both bases covered, both entrances from the lower part of the jungle. So if Lee Sin is even anywhere remotely close to bot lane, they know about it. And unfortunately, though, he is top lane. Riven's going to find him. Fruity walking into the bush. The test is there. And Godbro is there in pursuit. Riven, don't lose both of those double buffs. That would be disastrous. But Darius is here getting the pull, getting the hemorrhages, getting all that blood down there. And actually, Lee Sin just dies to the passive damage.
Yeah, and actually turning against them, it looked like they were going to maybe get the burst onto Fruity, but Riven's actually really survivable early on. And so Lee Sin coming up once again, expecting that quick level 3 gank after the double buff. but he wasn't able to, quite get enough kills.
Yeah.
And now this game is like just taking a complete turn. And Jax versus Darius, it's very even, but Jax, should win that matchup. But with any early advantage, Darius snowballs so quickly, and now Darius, with that double buff, is going to completely dominate Jax in that top lane. Like, it's going to be difficult for Jax to, even farm, because anytime he's going to want to come into farm, Darius just hooks him in, throws off his W, can chase him down, and that's the issue, is how fast he can snowball that top lane. So we'll see, but that is a huge blow to WinFakt right now.
So right now, Jax, he's got two things he's got two objectives he needs to do. One, hit 6 ASAP so he can at least go ahead and try and exchange even damage in those trades. And two, gotta build some armor. Ninja Tabby would be a fantastic pickup for him in the top lane, just try and mitigate all the damage that is being dished out. But right now, though, it is looking a little bit grim for the Jax, but we'll come back there later when both those bros hit 6.
Doran's versus nothing and having the double buff.
Yeah.
He just needs to sit back, let those buffs disappear, and then hope, Jax, if he can keep up the farm, he should be able to exchange pretty well with Darius. The issue is Darius has so much killing potential and will have even more as the game progresses. And so that's usually how Jax wins the lanes, is his killing potential. But Darius's killing potential is actually a little bit higher than Jax's, even without items. But now that the items are there and the double buff is there, it's just devastating. And Riven coming up top, wow, just abusing that top lane. And they're actually very close to engaging. We have the hook from Godbro. There's the pullback and the red buff. We have the stun. Godbro is able to get out of there, but Shab's almost able to pick up that kill. And even so, Jax can't farm at all.
Yeah, Godbro, he can get away from those ganks, but right now, Shabs, he's just pressing it. He's just flexing his muscles, and now you see Fruity is focusing quite a bit on top lane. So now that that's been established, the test may want to go ahead and focus either on mid, on bot, or even doing some counter jungling. But as you can see, his teammates in bot lane are pushing pretty aggressively. But there's Zilean is still ripe for the ganking, but he will be hitting 6 soon. He will be able to go ahead and shift himself backwards in time if he were to die pretty soon. So, I mean, it would be good on the test to make him waste the ult, but it's going to take a lot of effort for Lee Sin to try and catch up to Riven's aggression.
And we'll have to see, how Jax kind of catches up with that. We do see Fruity trying to get some nice invasion here. Akalord, is a little bit low, so they're actually going to, pinch him here. And we will have a lot of kill potential once we're pushed in. We will have that revive from Zilean, so they can tower dive so easily. And Fruity actually going in for it. Kind of a little bit of a tip of the hat.
A little bit too fast there, a little bit too aggressive. And I was expecting, but the flash is down on Fruity, so you can't actually flash over the wall from the Wraith camp, kind of like
I thought they would just, if Zilean pushes in that mid lane, then they just come in behind the tower, kill Karthus because he can't get out, and then Zilean revives whoever's going to go down, and they walk out of there with a free kill.
They absolutely could. But even then, though, still Karthus is still a threat. After he does die, you can go ahead and get some free damage. And Karthus is 6 now, so he's got the Requiem. If they do get low enough, it could be a little bit of a panic.
The big thing is they were sitting around for so long, they didn't want Lee Sin to kind of, or anyone from WinFakt to figure out where they are.
Right.
We do see, Darius just getting some nice damage onto Jax, but unfortunately Jax turning back onto him, and Riven is up in that top lane, will zone him out there, so Jax has to back off once again.
But in the meantime, though, Janna actually getting poked out, getting chunked out pretty well under their own tower. So, and Lee Sin is actually sneaking up behind through the bushes. Because, if Riven's going to be focusing up top lane, Tess has got to focus elsewhere, but he's actually just going to go ahead and back off and allow the lane to push. So, because right now, Ash 46, Corki 56, Firemane is working on a pretty good creep advantage, and the lead on that is only going to extend because Riven's staying so far up with top lane. There's not going to be a whole lot of help coming in for Acer, for bot, for quite some time now.
Yeah, we see Jax, will actually keep the lane pretty even. He has the double claw, so we'll get that fast Ninja Tabby. He has the Vamp Scepter, so he wins the exchange with Darius because he can then go back and heal. But what he can't allow is for Darius to just chase him down and pick up kills because Darius still has a lot of kill potential. Otherwise, Jax should be able to take a little bit more advantage back and just kind of farm up, which is what he wants to do right now. He doesn't want to allow those advantages to go. And you see Darius has to kind of play defensively, even though he has such a huge early advantage, because he knows that Jax, they'll exchange damage. Jax will probably win the exchange, and then Jax can go with that Vamp Scepter. But we do see there's the pink ward. Fruity can come up, and he has no idea, so we're going to get the stun. The flash goes off, so he will get out of there, though.
Fruity just a little bit mistimed there with the engage. Missing the stun, using up the ult, but good call on Shabs to go ahead and get the pink ward for the river, take out any clearance that there may be for WinFakt, because Godbro's still in a pretty vulnerable spot if they get the engage they want. But now I think Fruity may want to go ahead and take the other opportunities to roam, go see if there are any other greener pastures elsewhere on the map, such as bot lane or even opportunities like Dragon. There is the blue buff ripe for the picking. Should just go ahead and help Revan get that taken with him in the mid. Get some, because those bombs are pretty expensive. They are not the most cheapest things when it comes to mana.
Yeah, we do see some nice lane control bottom from Corki and Soraka. They know, that we have the harass and we have the regen advantage. So actually, Riven, that
I think
sucks.
That's an accidental grab.
Yeah, but
Riven
actually, Corki just chasing down Ashe once again. Actually, the last hit and then the Karthus ultimate will be able to pick it up.
Nice.
And without any heals, very quickly, if you wear down, in a Ashe Janna lane, it's actually kind of a weak lane. And so, they can get early advantages by just winning with the regen that Soraka provides them, able to pick up a kill there, and they're actually moving right over the dragon. So with Karthus, they definitely have great control here. This is going to be a free dragon.
Yeah, not only was Ashe destroyed there in the bot lane from the Karthus ult, but Zillion also decided to back to go ahead, shop, get the catalyst for the Rod of Ages to be built. So 2 members of Acer are gone. Go ahead, take Dragon. You have the advantage and go ahead and press it. But and still, top lane, Godbro catching up a little bit. It's still a bit by bit progression. He was even a little bit ago, and he's falling behind. So they were even at 40 CS apiece a couple minutes ago, and Darius able to take an advantage here, just slowly wear him down. And so it is pushing into Godbro. He can get that the CS underneath the tower, but even so, Darius with the really nice control up there, making it difficult for Jax, and he has the 2-level advantage on Jax right now. So being able to zone him out of some of those creeps and just be extremely aggressive, because Jax knows how much killing potential he has. He is going to recall. We'll be able to get those items. I'm curious where he's going. He's probably as close to, a Hex Drinker. I was going to say he's close to a BF sword if he wants it. Hex Drinker is definitely going to make sense. We have the Ash Arrow. It isn't going to hit anyone, though. Karthus actually almost walked right into it. He almost did, but it was worth a shot. At Corgan, he was like, whoa, he's like limboing under the arrow to try.
Yeah, if they had actually run at him a little bit sooner, they could have forced him back a little bit quicker, and he would have walked right into it. We do see Riven coming up top once again, though, really pressuring this top lane. They want Darius to have every advantage in the game. Yeah, but the nice pink ward from Godbro, recognizing a pink ward was there early.
But he's still going to stick around, though, and Riven is still, the bush is warded, and you're still staying around. But he does have quite a few escape options available to him, so it's nothing too huge. But Zillion is actually coming up from behind, so there could be a 3-man gank top pretty soon. But he recalled very smartly. Jax recalls, gets out of the bad situation.
At the same time, they just keep on denying Jax from farming, and Jax is actually forced to go Wriggles. So he's going a Wriggles build against Darius, which it will give him some of that lane control back, but it's going to be so terrible for fights. So, having that Wriggles early when he's already behind. When we come to team fight time, Jax is going to be almost inconsequential. So, I mean, a lot of it, we do have the Karthus, we do have the Corki. They're not counting on Jax as much, but even so, Darius is, winning the lane so hard in this top lane. We actually have Jax diving it. We have the Ignite from both of them. There's the Karthus ultimate, but the Hex Drinker will protect him, and Jax does go down to Darius's damage as well. And now, unfortunately, Lee Sin is caught out of position as well. He can't get out of there.
Nice
the quick shield
to the Corki to get out of the way of the Riven
Ash Arrow
ult.
up in like 5 seconds, though. 3, 2, 1.
And yes, still point blank managed to get with the enchanted arrow through the bush, just up in time, perfect timing. But Fruity getting a little bit too overzealous. The tower will take her out, but Zillion is there with the ult to bring her back just at the right point in time. And now Corki getting way too far dove in, but Zillion, you should have saved the ult for yourself. Oh, but
or
still.
he was fine with using it on Riven.
That's
so
fine. Riven's fine.
yeah.
Riven's fine.
I mean, Zillion could have gotten off a second sooner, so he didn't take
damage. Use the ult
damage.
on the pretty lady. Use the ult on the pretty lady.
Oh,
There's
the nice ult from Janna.
To keep Karthus away just for a moment, but may not actually be enough. The Layways are actually doing quite a bit of damage. The tier 1 tower is actually down in bot, so they can continue to press this still. Aqualord still in pursuit. The Tornado and the Ice Arrows will be able to slow him.
Yeah, they have really nice kiting with both Ashe and Janna.
Oh, but still, though, the Wall of Pain still getting the tail end there of that Janna, but they will have to back off there.
And that's what you saw. What Acer wants to do with this Zillion, they want to be really aggressive. Tower diving is huge, and so Riven tower diving, they pick up the quick kill. They have the Zillion ultimate.
Yep.
If Zillion had left a second earlier so that someone else would tank the turret, they would have actually all been able to get out of there. But even so, it was in their favor. So we will see. Dragon will be up in about 2 minutes, so it should be, that'll be kind of the next big objective, and then we'll see them all grouping. But Godbro, this is one of the best things about Jax is how quickly you can steal, or counter jungle and steal the enemy jungle. So able to grab that red really quickly and get out of there.
Zillion, though,
he should be fine, though, with Lee Sin.
He is slowed. Safeguard. Actually, they're going to go ahead and right in on this. Revan, the ultimate is not up. He's not going to be able to use it. And quick pinch there from WinFakt, able to grab that. Very nicely done. And
awesome positioning.
There is something I want to note, too. Very similar from Acer, seeing a lot of what happened in Game 1. Zillion, 3,600 gold. Karthus, 4,500 gold. Because Zillion, once again, leaving mid to try and insist on those ganks. Not as successful this time around, and now he's quite far behind the Karthus. Karthus is pretty well farmed at this point, and that's only that gap can only widen. But the Ashe Arrow coming in, Lee Sin will be on the brunt end of that, but not a whole lot capitalizing.
And the Karthus wall is huge there, so they have enough burst damage where Acer could maybe pick up some kills, but it was a 4v5. They wanted to back off, and we actually have Jax just kind of zoning them here with the Karthus wall. They know, all right, if Acer walks into it, they're just walking into a death trap.
And
we do have Ashe way out of position, gets caught, and now Darius right in the middle of the team gets some nice damage, but he will go down, and he has that Zillion ultimate, so can he grab it? Karthus actually flashing out of there, so they're all able to retreat, but Acer is in hot pursuit. We have Lee Sin, has the kickback, wants to get a shield. Unfortunately, he cannot, so he will go down, and then Riven chasing down Jax as well, but they should be able to get out of there.
The Karthus ult, though, almost managed to get a kill. The Darius was actually quite low, but you know what? That's the summer heal from Ashe, actually keeping everyone pretty topped off, keeping everyone alive, plus shield from Janna. Everyone's safe. And the Tess is going to be the first casualty there in that fight, unfortunately. So, but Acer now, they have a little bit of superior positioning now that he managed to take out one of the champs. And Karthus actually trying to recall under tower. Might be able to take someone with him to pull in from Darius. Will he go down the tower? Yes. Well, at least, even
it took a little bit longer than he expected, though. Yeah. So nice job there picking up the kill into Darius. And but I don't know. It's kind of an even exchange, but I think that's a little bit to Acer's benefit. So getting Karthus down right when this dragon is up.
Right there.
So they will get this dragon, and without Karthus, they're missing out on so much damage. But wow, WinFakt
aggressive here, just hopping right on over the wall. They want to contest this dragon. They want this. They are hungry for it. But Lee Sin's getting a little bit too overzealous there. Can he get the kill onto Fruity? The bomb. Zillion placed the bomb on Fruity, expecting Jax to continue with the fight. But alas, there's more of a reason, like Jax, your bro, your best friend, he just fell here. I think you might want to back off. So he does, and Acer manages to secure that dragon. And that was bad call by the Test. Outnumbered, the rest of your team was not there. There wasn't a whole lot that you could have done.
Yeah, and so Acer coming back. Gets the nice, gold pickup with the dragon, keeping it even. But now Godbro, despite all these early disadvantages, he's looking pretty strong. And despite the fact that he, is going with the Wriggles build, he does have that Heart of Gold as well. It's a really late Heart of Gold, which is surprising. But he expects this game to go on for a long time. So we'll see whether or not that pays off for him. It will make him a little bit weaker in these team fights. But if with Karthus and with Lee Sin, they can follow it up, they should be okay.
Not to mention, Darius's pretty huge gold lead on Jax as well. If you want, all things considered, the bombs going down onto Aqualord. How much? That's the thing. If you have a friend with a bomb on him, you kind of want to back away, because if you just leave him to his own devices, once the bomb explodes, you're not going to get caught up in the AoE. You don't want to give the enemy team any free damage. So you just want to go ahead and it's a lot of spacing involved in a in a very short amount of time even.
And here's something to consider, for Acer is the fact that Corki is so far ahead of Ash right now. And
Yes.
Ash, was able to pick up a couple of kills, but even so, Corki definitely has a farm advantage. Will be dealing a little bit more damage. Bloodthirster on Ash it's just okay. It stacks with your volley, which is nice. But we actually have the arrow,
nice.
and Fire Main's caught out.
Fire Main's caught out right in front. He's got the bombs. Darius, he is going down. He gets dunked straight on in from still under his own tower. And now Acers go ahead and push this in. Where's the Lee Sin? Lee Sin's top lane. You needed your help. You needed some shields. We need to be safer, a dragon kick or something at least. But no, he's pushing up top lane, just herping and derping a little bit.
Yeah, and just as I talk about that farm advantage for Corki,
no,
Ash is
caught.
like, screw you. Lee Sin is definitely caught out. There's the hook back from Darius, and very quickly he is going to go down.
Yeah.
He does flash, and then actually leaps over to Soraka, so just barely able to get out of there. Akalord with the perfectly placed wall is able to pull him out, so they will back off.
Yeah.
So really nice job there from WinFakt, but Darius starting to look pretty strong. They still can kite him, and still that Karthus is going to be so strong, so they need to watch off, but we have great pick-off potential from Acer if we hit any of those arrows.
There's still a ward in the bush in there from WinFakt. Bombs going down. Double bomb onto WinFakt. Wait for the second one to explode. But still, Ash is actually caught out a little bit too far. Has to flash away from the rest of WinFakt. So
we
now
do have that Karthus ultimate, though.
Karthus ult still up. There are still shields. Shield from Janna keeping Ash a little bit safe. But, man, okay, this is getting a little bit crazy here because look at the gold. The gold is still ridiculously even, and there are advantages to both teams here from the laning phase. Karthus and Corki won their lanes. Darius, he won his lane, and right now Riven is being a little bit immensely more effective than Lee Sin. So basically, basically in terms of champs and lanes and positioning, we have pretty much like an even 2-2 split here. And it's just it's a matter of like positioning here from both of these teams, because Karthus is pretty well farmed, Corki is pretty well farmed, WinFakt can do quite a bit of damage from a distance, but if Acer gets the positioning they want, Darius and Riven just go in and run amok with a revive from Zillion.
Oh, wow, and he's actually going for the Maul of Malmortius, recognizing he's going to get that revive. The big thing is that, WinFakt, they recognize the Lee Sin shield is primarily like a defensive measure,
Right.
and if they can keep Jackson...
Yeah. Lee Sin right now, you notice he's not... He's
terrible.
not the biggest game changer in these team fights. And sometimes when you see a Lee Sin falling behind, you'll see them max out the shield first as opposed to the wave. He's not doing this. The test is
he needs the burst damage. And
there's the arrow. Once again, Akalord being caught out a little bit too far. He does flash backwards. Where's your AoE? There it is. And now is Acer's time to engage on this. The revive going down onto Darius. He is the first one to go down, but he should be back in a moment. Will he be focused down? No, he will not. He will be able to get back to safety, but WinFakt not looking so healthy after that team fight, but Janna with the ult, keeping everyone topped off underneath their own tower.
And even though they pick off Akalord there, they're not able to get the kill because of, the Soraka, because of, just the team fight presence that WinFakt has, and very quickly that Karthus AoE just destroys Acer, and they are pressuring this tower and actually getting them pretty low, so they're in a really nice position here. Godbro really should just kind of run into the jungle and heal back up because he's not really contributing a lot right now, but one of the nice things about Lee Sin is he has that attack speed slow when we have so much physical damage by Acer, and so a lot of their team, they have Ash, Riven, Darius, they're all, auto attack kind of champions. That attack speed slow is going to be huge for the damage reduction in the fights later, and now WinFakt actually pretty healed up, so they're actually going to back off now. They recognize, all right, Baron fights are going to start being imminent. Acer, they've all kind of healed. Some of them are healing. Let's heal up too, get our items so we can, fight them in these upcoming fights.
Yep. Like I mentioned before, at champs, like, the big means of initiation, really the only means of initiation from Acer is all within that Ash arrow. And up until now, the arrows have actually been pretty on point, hitting their marks. I mean, WinFakt, even when they're in a pretty good clump, there was one Ash arrow which still managed to get the hit onto Corki. There was Karthus caught out way too far in front, managed to just get him point blank. The moment Ash is not able to get an arrow, if Ash shoots an arrow and whiffs completely, Acer can be in a boatload of trouble. See Acer here.
Oh, they're
now
engaging. Godbro gets hit by the whirlwind. There's
arrow.
actually the Ash arrow,
There's
but
the
it
arrow.
does
There's
miss.
the arrow that whiffs. This
so
is WinFakt's moment. WinFakt's moment. The wall of pain is still up. Pretty much everyone from Acer is slowed. The test being focused down pretty quickly, but the kick keeps everyone away. The ult from Zillion does go down, but it's not Draven. Darius is not the focus there. I keep saying Draven. There is the Karthus ult coming down, though. Can we get the kills? Got all the damage
really quickly
we
able to clean this up, and actually the flash stun onto Puri. The Janna ult actually pushing him underneath the tower, but he will be able to get out of there, so he will be safe. And you know, both teams really nice control. And the big thing is, you know, WinFakt, their only means of initiation are Lee Sin and Jax, and that kind of makes things difficult. But because the follow-up from Karthus is so huge, you know, they're going to be okay. And they don't really have the best initiation, but what WinFakt wants is they want to be able to just force fights and say, all right, you're going to have to fight us. You're going to have to walk into Karthus. You're going to have to walk into, you know, Jax and whatnot. They are able to pick up that dragon. So now a 3K gold advantage really quickly for WinFakt when it was even a second ago. And the big thing is getting Jax farmed up. But they already have plenty of damage as a team, so it's not as much of a concern as it normally would be. He's actually going for a Randuin's build, so not only does he get that gold per 10, which has helped him come back into this game, he's going to be extremely tanky because we have 3 physical damage dealers, and you know, Zillion has nice damage, but not the best damage for magic, so it's almost no magic damage for Acer. So going that Randuin's, he's going to, you know, be very difficult to kill, and then also he can dive into the enemy team, throw off his stun, throw off his Randuins, and then have the follow-up with the Karthus wall, and have the follow-up with the Karthus ultimate, and you know, the Karthus AoE, and so very quickly they can take advantage of that. It does make it kind of difficult for him to lane against Darius, though, and that's one interesting thing, is that Jax usually, you can split push Jax, and Jax is going to win every lane matchup, but now, because of his build, he's actually at a slight disadvantage to Darius, but he is going to be fine. He's going to farm up, and the next fight, you know, they're definitely going to have their advantages.
Dude, when this next patch comes in, man, I'm going to be so confused. Darius, Draven, I'm going to have that jumping over myself. Like, the patch isn't here yet, you know, Draven's not around, but Darius still, though, doing quite a bit of work. Though, got the Hex Drinker, going to be building into the Maw. Also have the Phage. Could see that into a Frozen Mallet later on. So there's going to be a lot of slow coming in. If Acer gets there engaged, you want to make sure that no one leaves, because they also have the slow from Ashe. You got the slow from Zillion as well. Got the stun from Riven, can pop everyone. But as saw in that last fight, the arrow misses. The plan falls apart. So, but WinFakt, they're totally more than capable than, you know, to retake all the team fights when the moment they have their prime opportunity to go ahead and engage. There is still a good, pretty decent amount of ward coverage here from Acer, but there's a lot of wards coming down from Baron, and WinFakt they're hungry. They're looking for it. The next team fight, the next time they manage to win something or manage to dissuade Acer from the area, they want to go in and swoop in and take the Baron.
Yeah, we do see actually WinFakt just coming right up. They have the pink ward, they can clear it. They have great Baron control. So Jax and Lee Sin are, you know, just the two of them in most games at this point can Baron by themselves. Jax, he doesn't have as much damage as he normally would, so they can't. However, with Karthus as well, they can very easily drop Baron, like literally just the 3 of them. So the fact that they have Corki and Soraka, that's just like icing on the cake. And Corki is so strong right now. Ashe finally grabbing an Infinity Edge. So that was the farm that Corki had earlier that we were talking about. Ashe just now has her items finished. Corki, on the other hand, a Trinity Force and a Bloodthirster. You know, and when you consider Karthus is already so powerful, they have to deal with Karthus. Then they have to deal with Corki. Then they have to deal with the follow-up with Jackson, Lee Sin, and it's just too much to handle right now for Acer. But, you know, they do have great initiation. They do have great bursts. If they can just burst one person down, then back off, they have great disengage with Janna. You know, so with the true damage from Darius, you have the Ashe, then you burst someone down, get the hell out of there, come back in when you're ready again.
Oh, WinFakt, they're pinging around Acer's jungle very feverishly. They're shooking the camp. I think they're looking to try and get a bait here over by the Baron area. They're pretty conscious. They're pretty aware that there may be a ward over here. They want to go ahead and camp out and see if they can't catch Acer off guard, sneaking slowly in the test, taking the front with the wave, checking to make sure, you know, that all these bushes are clear. There is a ward in there, and Puri may be caught out a little bit too far. There's the vision. They caught the ward to clear the ward, and now WinFakt is just nicely moving as a pack, trying to see if they can't get into quick advantage off Acer. Janna's a little bit too far out there. Still got the Oracles, though. You do not want to lose that Oracles. If Janna loses that Oracles or if Soraka loses the Oracles, things could also quickly sway.
Yeah, we do have Zillion trying to get some momentum in that bottom lane so they can pressure, but it is a slight advantage for WinFakt, but he will be back in time, so it's not that big of a deal. You know, WinFakt, I'm a little bit surprised they're not pressuring the Dragon or the Baron, but I think they're really concerned with how quickly Acer, their team can really snowball fights, and that's what Acer's team is built around. And so WinFakt is like, all right, if we lose one fight, then we lose the Baron, and all of a sudden the game is over basically.
Pretty much.
If Acer is able to win one fight and get Baron, it's done. And so they kind of want to sit back, just allow themselves to farm up, because they know as long as we keep on farming, our late game is just so strong.
Yeah.
With Jax and with Karthus, two of the strongest late game champions in the game. So, they're perfectly fine with kind of sitting back for a little bit. And we'll see, how this kind of works out.
Yeah, laning phase pretty much ended with a dead heat between these two teams. That difference in gold on the WinFakt is pretty much just from one team fight by Dragon. That's pretty much it. Everything else is just pure farm and aggression, and both these teams are looking for a moment. Everyone from WinFakt is pretty clumped up. This could be the moment for the Ashe Arrow. Riven's going on, and there's the Ashe Arrow going straight on the Jax. Not the target they want, but Darius is maybe caught out just a little bit too far out, and there's a Janna ult to clear Karthus away, but Darius will actually go down, and now Riven's caught out a little bit too far away from the rest of the team. Karthus is dead. There comes the ult.
They could actually back off and take Baron now.
They could.
The big thing is that fight, you saw they kited Darius. Darius had to, chase around on his own. He had the Zillion ult. He was kind of running around, kill me, what are you doing?
Yep.
And they backed off, waited for the Zillion ult to be down. Now they have a great Baron control team. You see they're rushing for it. Acer is pretty low, but we did see the Janna Monsoon to heal them back up, so they're actually deceptively strong right now, and so WinFakt has to back off. They actually had the quick burst, though. Pyre very close to going down. Pyre, however we're going to say it, and they will be able to back off, but not able to pick up any more kills.
Zillion a little bit too far out. He just had to decide. He just had to go back. Jax will be able to get in, get the stun, get everything he needs. The ult was down. It was used in the fight before. Hex Drinker Shield going on up for Riven, and WinFakt, they had the opportunity to go ahead and take the Baron, but Acer was there, just managed to distract them enough. Barely getting away from that fight, though. But even then, with that fight, this still like the gold lead pre-fight still remains intact.
Yeah.
So this is still, not
it was
decided.
An even exchange, and it almost worked out really well for WinFakt. We do see Ashe is going to come down and take this dragon, so that'll definitely be nice. Ashe is actually going to get kind of low with it, though, and that's going to be a concern. She actually seems to be okay. So with the shield, she's going to be fine. Corki, can kill the bottom wave, so, getting even more farm and taking even more of a farm advantage, already 100 CS ahead of Ashe, and then get the momentum back in that lane. And Corki knows there's not really a threat of Corki going bottom, because if Acer tries to rush Baron, then Karthus is just going to walk right on top of them, and they're all going to die. So, Corki can go bot, farm up, get the momentum very easily, and we'll see if WinFakt pressures another fight here.
Darius has finished the Maw and also bought himself a Giant's Belt. So that's going to be quite a bit of health on the true damage soldier there. Ashe, now starting to, continuing the item build, trying to catch up a little bit to where Corki's at. Got the Zeal, going to be tagging a little bit faster, but Corki's got a lot of money in the bank. He's got nearly 2K still unspent. That's going to definitely go to something nice. Maybe even the... actually, Last Whisper might not even be necessary here. There's not a whole lot of armor stacking here on Acer. But still, I assure you, he's probably going to be buying something super huge. But still, though, now it's just a lot of fishing here. WinFakt trying to get the engage, trying to get the jump on the Acer, like they attempted to before. The wave going down Janna, and Lee Sin's going, and he's going to back off just in time, though. He gets the safeguard away, and there's the stun onto Darius from Jax. And Riven pops the ult and goes in. All of Acer is trying to move it one by one, but WinFakt is there. Everyone's in a nice group, and Karthus will be able to get a pretty good chunk out of everyone. Fruity was the target of the revive from Zillion, but Karthus will go down. There comes the ult. Will he be able to finish it off? Yes, there's the kill onto Ashe, and Fruity should be next to the ball there. God, bro, grabbing that kill. Now continuing for the engage on Zillion. He has to speed buff himself away and should be able to get to safety, but that's 1 for 3.
And you saw in that fight, one of the issues with Darius is he has, really high damage in lane, and he's got a lot of burst damage in fights, and he can snowball fights very well. But if you can't kill anybody, then Darius, all of a sudden, he's just an auto attacker, and he has decent auto attack damage, but not the greatest. And so he kind of sits around. He doesn't have enough damage to snowball the fight by himself. And so even though he survived for quite a bit of time, he wasn't able to take anyone down. They are going to be able to back off. They can take this Baron so easily. Zilean going to walk into him, but he is going to die trying to steal it or something. But it's not going to happen. WinFakt very easily pick up that kill. They can grab this Baron. We have Jax just going to chase down Janna here, and there's no one with him. So with the Baron, with that slow, we have the ultimate from Janna actually jumping to a ward. So he's just a quick hop skipping away, but he is going to be fine. And this is just such a huge advantage for WinFakt at this point in time. And the big thing is Acer needs to bring the fight to WinFakt. WinFakt, they get to dictate everything in this game now, and so Acer's going to, try and kill people. They're going to try and burst people down. Clearly, I mean that's the goal of the game, but they don't have quite enough damage to take down any of them. And with the Soraka, the armor buffs from Soraka versus this physical tank team, Acer can't pick up the kills that they need, so all of a sudden, WinFakt just wins these long fights because of how strong their late game is.
Not to mention, WinFakt's positioning in these fights is actually quite impeccable. Back to Jax trying to get the kill onto Darius. The Randuin's Omen was popped, going to slow him a little bit, plus Jax, he's got the red buff as well. He just go ahead and straight out 1v1 him, yes, very convincingly. No escape, but that last team fight, very close quarters. Karthus had the AoE going on the entire team. If anyone you saw members of Acer reconsidering going on in, and they were actually filing in one by one, taking their shot, trying to kill a member of WinFakt. But if they wanted to go through it, they had to go through the Karthus ult, they had to go through the wall pain, they had to go through everything, and the damage was just not there. The close quarters just works so well in WinFakt's advantage. The Karthus AoE, you also got the burst from Corki as well, and that just spelt doom.
Yeah, and they can really just aggressively push. So this next creep wave, they're probably going to just rush onto the tower, and they know, Acer, they can't clear the waves fast enough. WinFakt can just fight right under the tower with Godbro. He's so tanky. They will actually back off. So, they want to be safe. They don't want to allow any sort of fights to go wrong.
Well, there's a lot of unfinished business here top lane. Tier 1 is actually still up. True. So they're just going to go ahead and just clear the entire line while they have the buff, while they have the advantage, and they should be able to do it pretty convincingly and without issue. The matter is now that
Jax is actually just walking up and tanking it, so he can do that easily.
Because Jax is a boss. That's what Jax does.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're gonna.
He didn't even take any damage.
That's.
I mean, he had the Lee Sin shield, but I'm saying
that's how much of a boss Jax is.
Right, and it's just they have so much damage and so much AoE and everything. Acer, they're kind of looking at it. They're like, what do we do? This is, I mean, they don't really have a lot of options, even though the game was so close. Here's a quick tower. We do see Jax actually going to jump in. He has the stun, so he's chasing him down. Zilean getting pretty low. They can back out of there with the Ash Chevalier and with the Janna, so they will be fine. But you see, they can't go toe-to-toe with WinFakt at this point.
Yeah, and even then, and when you can't go toe-to-toe with the team, all of a sudden that revive on Zilean becomes kind of useless. If you don't have a means to convincingly take the fight, then what's the point of bringing someone back if there's going to be immediately focused, bursted down and killed? There's the arrow coming down from Ash, but there's still not going to be a whole lot done. The kill from Darius actually does get the kill on Karthus, and Corki does manage to chunk out Janna to death as well. The ult from Zilean will actually revive Darius after the Karthus ult, but still though, not a whole lot to be done.
And that is going to be game. We do see WinFakt, they're going to be able to take this inhibitor. They have plenty of time to take down these the Nexus turrets. And so, WinFakt, with great control of this game, they beat out the Darius, even though Darius had such a crushing lead against Jax in that top lane. He just, they didn't have enough follow-up damage, and they were able to kite him right into that Karthus AoE. 2-1 WinFakt over Acer. Huge match.
Huge, fantastic match. Quite possibly one of the best series we've ever had here on the IPL stream.
Oh, look at Corki just flying off into the distance.
Flying off on into the sunset. WinFakt will take the series 2-1. Fantastic, fantastic show.
Yeah, definitely. It was a really cool match. Both teams played at a really high level. You can kind of see some of the weaknesses of Darius, though. Darius, once he had that early advantage, was crushing in lane. But Jax even so able to keep up pretty even with him. And then when it came down to team fights, Darius just didn't have enough damage. They, as a team, they didn't have enough damage, and so all of that physical damage, they couldn't take anyone down because of the Soraka. So a lot of physical damage versus Soraka. You have
Right.
the armor buff, and very quickly, WinFakt was able to win it with their late game presence. So
and I can tell you right now, like the game for the longest time was just dead heat even. Two lanes won on one side, a lane in the jungle was winning on the other side, and it was just like pretty much like both teams had champs that were equally underfarmed, and it really just became a battle of skill and engagement. And I get right where the entire match turned was that dragon fight and the missed Ash arrow, because there's so much reliance from Acer on that arrow landing on somebody.
Right.
Didn't matter who it hit, because even if you hit Jax or Lee Sin, they're still underfarmed. They can still melt pretty quickly. As long as it hit someone, Acer would have had that fight. But you miss once, and that's what happens.
Even if it did hit anyone, it's hard to imagine that Acer would win that fight, and they don't. They definitely needed to take advantages there. That was when they were still really strong, but they didn't have enough burst damage. And you saw the arrow; it was so far away. The Karthus wall very easily can just stop a fight. They can get out of there. So Karthus instinctively, he's like, okay, we have the arrow going down. I'll throw up my wall very quickly. If you hit the arrow, it's no big deal because you don't have a good means of engaging. So they could get out of there.
Yeah.
So just really nice play all around, and WinFakt able to pick it up. I'm excited to see how they match up in the future. Who are they actually playing? We have the brackets up.
We've got the
NA
brackets.
Well, let's switch it over to the EU.
Let's
and
go ahead
we'll be able to check that out.
Yeah, let's go see. And who's WinFakt actually going to go ahead and play here? Let's bring up the bracket. WinFakt Team Acer here. They are going to be playing up against Amazing Team, who Amazing Team and TCM were going to play, but TCM actually with the forfeit.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. So, we'll see how Amazing Team does.
I'll have to see what the story is behind that.
Should be interesting. Yeah.
Because so I don't know. We'll go ahead. We'll get the story from that. But yeah, that's going to be your last round of 8 match there on the EU bracket this afternoon. However, on the NA side of things, we were going to have CLG Black and HC Gaming, but we have a little bit of a change of schedule here. So tonight instead, still same time, 8 p.m. Pacific, and be a little bit later than usual. We're actually going to have
the same time at all. That's a 3-hour difference. Still same time.
No, same time as originally planned.
Because it was going to be 8 p.m.
Yeah, we're still. Yeah.
I hadn't heard that before.
I said it right at the top.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, TSM Evo and Super Special Awesome, 8 p.m. Pacific tonight. It's going to be a little bit of a later broadcast, and we did, but you know what? TSM Evo, always a joy to see them play. Saw them this weekend over at the Curse Invitational. It's always amazing.
Yeah,
to see
they look really cool.
And it's also
Afremu and Nat crushing that bot lane. Wings of Death is always fun up top.
And there's still a lot of pending round of 32 matches to get done for NA side too. But it's okay. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna get through them. You're gonna be there with us. And of course, once again, thank you for joining us today. It was a fantastic, amazing series. Quite possibly one of the best we've ever had, if not the best. And hey,
that's a bit much. But
I think it is. I honestly think it is. That was an amazing. series.
It was really good.
It was a crazy good series. And as always, though, this is a match you tell your friends about. This is absolutely set, and we're probably gonna have the rebroadcast here just immediately after.
Yeah, we'll have it up shortly.
And as always, the usual thing. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at IGN Pro League, YouTube.com/IPL/LOL, and remember, send us your tops, send us your flops. We want your replays. IPL/LOL replays at gmail.com. If we use it, we'll send you something nice. For now, though, I think we're pretty much done. So, do join us later on tonight for TSM Evo and Super Special Awesome. But until then, we will see you next time. Good night.